All right, we're officially live. I suppose we should get this started.
Rock and roll.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
We have a special guest tonight. Ianbits has joined us, fresh off the Bethesda stream. So now we're gonna let him down.
Yeah.
I'm slightly less terrified about this one. I mean, still some terrified, but slightly less.
I'm technically a special guest because I haven't been streaming at all lately.
You know, I got stuck in a situation where I tweeted out that I wasn't going to release any more videos until the bugs got fixed. And then on Friday, when I had like 1 hour I wasn't working or in class, I got a notification that the bugs had been fixed. And I was like, God damn it, dude. I have to follow through on this. So I immediately hopped out of the ladder with support mage and was like, let's do this. Recorded a video, edited it in the worst way possible, and released it immediately.
And
yeah, I haven't done anything.
I had to, you know, I wanted to follow through on what I said. But I didn't expect that quick of a response to the bugs. And I was really impressed, actually, with how quickly those things were addressed.
yeah, they did it at the perfect time because I think it was starting to spread. People were starting to catch on, and there was a lot of people doing the embassy disguise thing. I managed to avoid it except once accidentally, but I think the longer those things are around, the more it becomes an accidentally. It was I believe it was America. It was either America or Rothgar Forge, and if that happens, it's not really their fault.
Yeah, I understand.
But yeah, it's good that it, and props to some people, like especially a lot of streamers who avoided talking about it in specifics because that probably helped it not become a bigger deal.
I said that I wasn't streaming because of the bugs, but really it was just soul crippling depression.
So, absolutely.
Oh,
you know, I even tweeted like I'm not streaming because of the bugs, and then like a couple minutes later I was like, actually it's really just soul crushing existential depression. And so that was a thing for a bit. The winter months are always hard here in Michigan because we get like no sunlight, and normally I just try to like work out through it because I have like my family like all suffers from depression and they're all addicts, and so normally like working out is the go-to, but my knee's been jacked up and I don't see the orthopedic until the 26th, so it's just been getting to me.
Why don't you take a seat in my office here, Charmer?
Yeah, I know, right? And then when I did hop on to play off stream, I kept running into Bone Colossus like every other game. Yeah, I tweeted about it. Look, I'm gonna go right on record because I'll die on this hill. You're an asshole if you abuse even just Bone Colossus, and I don't want to hear none of that bullshit about like, well, I was using it before. I saw Bone Colossus like twice in the last 2 months, and then I played 6 games during the lunch break, and 3 of them had Bone Colossus in it. No, those assholes are abusing it.
Well, they had to literally break the car to make it stronger so it could compete with the righteous powerhouse that is Worm King's agent.
yeah,
Right, Worm King's agent. Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Like the guy who is a writer for PC Gamer tweeted at me like, well, to be fair, I was using it before. Well, yeah, but to be fair, I was also not using it before and still at an 80% win rate. So you can either be an asshole or not. Like, I don't care if you use it, just understand that you're an asshole and own up to it. That's where I stand.
I was, what pushed me over the edge of just being super irritated by it was like 4 games in a row against Bone Colossus running mid-range decks, and I just had enough, and I was like, I'm not going to participate in this madness.
yeah. I think I just got lucky. I ran into Bone Colossus definitely sometimes, but for at least the start of the season, I was playing a lot of really aggressive decks. So by the time they played Bone Colossus, I'd usually already won or already lost. So
yeah,
I didn't feel as bad.
I had one that was a really tight game, and then my opponent proceeded to play Bone Colossus on one side, and then Bone Colossus the following turn on the other side, all while emoting. And it was a mid-range warrior who traditionally warriors in the past had not run Bone Colossus. Right. So I'm just like, that. Come on now, like you're an asshole. You're almost Kassadin level at that point. And I know that we don't normally name names, but I've seen multiple screenshots of that asshole using the embassy disguise bug already this season. So for anybody who ever tries to defend him as the anti-cheater because he accidentally did whatever 3 times in a tournament, like you can't even defend it at this point.
Yeah.
On the upside, I get the self-satisfaction that he's cheating and I'm still higher than him on the ladder.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not. I'm like rank 5. I haven't done. I've only played like 20 or 30 games because I was already depressed and then was running into Bone Colossus every other game. So
yeah.
One of the things that requires the most willpower that I do whenever we have a championship series tournament is not ban that asshole from chat. That takes more willpower than almost anything else I do at this game. It's bad enough they're stealing our elections. Now they gotta steal our games.
Right.
So
like, is anybody shocked it's the Russian guy in the community that's the big cheater? Like, is anybody shocked?
We're all about to get doxxed.
to be fair, I mean, Aquaman is another Russian streamer who, I mean, I think some people might have had issues with him, but he's always been a good dude to me. He makes TestLegends.pro, which is is one of like the 2 websites, or I guess 3 if you count between the lanes, but like one of the 2 websites that you can post decks on and share stuff like that. So
I've never had a problem with Aquaman.
No, Aquaman's cool.
And as a people, you know, it's like you can't judge a country based on what their leaders do. Hopefully.
All right.
Yeah.
So moving off specific people. So you guys haven't played too much with the new cards, have you?
Not really. I mean, like I played some Singleton Mage, and I've played with really stupid Telesis conscription combos, but that's about all I've done.
That was one of my first thoughts too, by the way. It was just charge battle mage, all of the removal, all of the conscription, or all of the chargers, and then conscription, and it did not work. I think it's currently sitting at like 17% win rate for me. Yeah,
it's one of those weird decks that like just absolutely floors a couple matchups, and it just loses abysmally to anybody with their like a curve.
Those are fun ones, though.
Yeah, I mean, like, I have fun, you know, crushing aggro decks and crushing control decks and then losing to 75% of the decks on the ladder.
Yeah, I haven't played a ton with the new cards, but the one I've been trying to abuse the most is the new Giant, because I think that...
Yeah, that card's strong.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, of the new cards, it was the one that I felt like had the most potential to either enable some archetypes that had been struggling or... like really enhance some other ones, and I've enjoyed the card so far. Like, it's performed as well as I expect it to.
Yeah, it's definitely really good.
Yeah, it's an interesting card. I've had trouble finding a good way to use it, just because most of the time you end up playing it in the shadow lane, which is really annoying because you want this thing in the field lane to try and prevent them from like playing big things or trade into big things.
That is true.
You're almost always using the removal for like little stuff that they're trying to sneak through the shadow lane, and it ends up being like a little bit counterintuitive, but it's powerful enough that you still play it. It's just like
yeah, I was playing it in Merrick, like as a second Ice Storm, and it basically means like between having Ice Storm and the Giant, I was auto winning against tokens.
Yeah.
So
that's why I love that's why I put the Giant in, even if he's awkward, is oh my god, he gets tokens. It's so satisfying. Turn 5 you shoot down their fervor, and then the next turn you play the Giant. It's so good.
Yeah, it's been really good for me there. So I know we said to get away from specific people, but I think we normally, when we have a guest, ask them like, you know, how they got started playing Legends.
That's true.
You know, what their background was, things like that. So Ian is a specific person, but I think we should talk about Ian. And first of all, I want to know how you chose the name Ianbits.
Ianbits.
I mean, you...
So I've told this story before, and it's not a super interesting story, but I'm from Cleveland. My dad used to work at a Browns website and magazine that he actually founded, and his handle for everything was Artbytes, ARTBTZ, and everybody pronounced it Artbits. So when I was a kid, I played video games all the time on his account. And everybody called me Artbits, and I thought it was annoying because my name wasn't Art, so I changed the Art to Ian, and I changed the BTZ to BITS because everybody said Bits anyway. So that's Ianbits.
That's kind of cool.
But it was Art Bytes was in reference to Art Modell. It's like Art Modell Bytes, like screw that guy. So it was weird that people called me Art because the name was supposed to be like, this guy's a terrible person, and then everybody was like, hey, what's up, Art? I was like, God damn it.
So when you stream, Ian, do you have like a loyalty currency, like one of those bots or anything?
What do you mean?
You know, like if there are some streamers that'll have like a bot that rewards currency.
Yeah, no,
and...
I don't have it. Yeah, it would be easy to give him like Ianbits.
Well, I was thinking that it would be Ian Bitcoin. There's your one reference per cast.
Yeah. I don't even have a name for my subs. Currently call them the collection of people who have a Barbus emote.
Yeah, so like for a bit, a long time ago, before I even had the option to have people sub, just like people who hung out into my chat and were regulars, they like self-called themselves the Charm Squad, but then because I changed a bunch of games. I've streamed just about everything under the sun. I changed a bunch of games, and a lot of them have like come and gone. There's still some of the old crew around, but it kind of died off. I don't have a name either.
But as far as I got started, I don't think there's a ton of me as far as streamers go. I'm one of the drop boys. Like I came in when drops were a thing. I came in like right a little bit after the Steam release, and I started kind of getting into it right before drops became a thing. And then drops made it so like cool. I can actually have a collection without spending a ton of money, and that's So I started a little bit before Heroes of Skyrim, a little bit before drops, and then used that opportunity to get super into it. I played all the way back in beta, back when it was still the Elixir Magicka, but I only played for like 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. There's a suggestion in chat for Ianbits.
Ianbits? I can't. Yeah. The new Twitch guidelines. That's harassment. I can't do it.
What are the new Twitch guidelines?
They're the same as they've always been, to be honest. Yeah. Like I read them and I didn't see anything that jumped out at me. Here's what it is, right? Like don't be an asshole and don't show anything you're not supposed to show, right? Like that's it. If you can do those two things, you're fine.
I can't stream in the orc costume because that dude doesn't wear a shirt.
Yeah,
you can. You just have to wear a shirt. Like,
I don't think you understand how deep my character acting goes.
You have to wear a T-shirt that's painted like an orc's pectorals.
Yeah, I'll get right on that. That's interesting. Also, chat wants to know what you're drinking, Ian.
Michelob Ultra. It's always what I drink.
Right
it's just the cheapest thing I can buy that doesn't taste terrible.
Why don't you step into my office as soon as Charmer's done?
I've got a Strongbow Gold Apple hard cider tonight.
Oh, I love Strongbow.
I do too.
What the fuck is happening here? You guys are drinking on the air?
Yeah.
Where's those Twitch guidelines? Somebody throw those to me.
Yeah, he actually.
It's no drinking excessively.
That's it. I'm gonna start eating Tide Pods on the air.
Like no joke, my wife was going to the store this week, Justin, and she's like, "Hey, I'm stopping by the store. Do you need anything?" And I just responded with Tide Pods.
Absolutely.
And she laughed, and she was like, didn't know what to say to it, and I was like, "No, really, get me Tide Pods."
I was at work thinking about Tide Pods the other day, and I asked our office manager. I was like, "This is a woman in her late 40s from South Carolina or something like that," and I was like, "Hey, what do you know about Tide Pods?" And she goes, "Don't eat them." And I was like, "Yeah, awesome answer." I just could not stop laughing afterwards.
That's rule number 1.
Yeah. It's a great moment, actually. I felt closer to than I've ever felt before.
I need to find something else that's equally as edgy to eat.
Yeah, we could start something. We could start a trend. We could print off Legends cards and eat them.
I legit have like some of those ones from the convention in front of me. Like I could eat this Wabbajack right now. It would Wabbajack me up.
I think you should.
Tastes like a sweet roll.
Yeah, I think you should do that. That's huge. I love it.
The traffic cone challenge? Oh god, that sounds terrifying.
Tell me about
there is 0 things that can end well with a traffic cone.
Actually, I have a funny story about traffic cones. When I was in high school, some friends and I were hanging out at a Wendy's, getting, we were fucking stoned, just being stupid. And there was a giant cone, like, 3-4 feet tall in my mind, for like wet floor warning kind of thing. My friends are like, "We should steal that cone." I was like, "Oh yeah, dude, let's do it." And so like somehow, probably because I was you know, the the sucker. They were like, Justin, you grab the cone. We'll all be in the car waiting outside for you. I'm like, bet, man, let's do this. So they get in the car. They pull up to the fucking window, or not the window, the door. So I grab the cone. I bolt for it, and of course they drive the fuck off. And I'm standing outside this Wendy's, having just like made this grand exit with this cone in my hands, and my friends are like laughing, giving me the finger, driving off. So I, left the cone in the at the store and just kind of like moseyed on out of there.
My traffic cone story is, I was out drinking in East Lansing with some friends when I was a teen and should not have been, because I was kind of a delinquent.
Right.
And I was actually dating my wife at the time. If you guys don't know, my wife and I are high school sweethearts. And I was going back to her place to spend the night, but we were drinking and we passed one of those big construction barrels that have like the blinking lights on the top.
Yeah.
And for some reason, her brother and I and our friend, I guess I probably shouldn't use names, but the three of us decided that we felt like one of these cones would be a really interesting thing to leave in her oldest brother's room. So we picked one up and carried it like 1.5 miles back to her house, put it in her oldest brother's room, and then just left it, right? And so then like I went and I slept in another room, and he was at the bar that night, and he came home drunk, and I just remember waking up and hearing him yell, "Why is there a construction cone in my room?" Because like it's in there and it's the light is still blinking and the whole nine. And everybody just, not a single person snitched, right? So everybody was just like, I don't know, maybe you put it there. And of course he was drunk, so he's not in any shape or form to like try to argue with this. And we were just like, I don't know, man, it was there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good times.
I guess I'm the only one without a traffic cone story. I got nothing. I'm mostly just like, oh, I should not hit that with my car. It's been my experience with traffic cones.
That's good advice.
I've hit a bunch of them with my car. I've done a lot of things that I wasn't proud of as a youth.
Come for the Legends Talk, stay for the sound life advice.
Don't eat Tide Pods.
Don't hit traffic cones.
Don't hit traffic cones.
Yeah.
This is all you need. Just show this to a troubled youth, and they'll make it through.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to give Immortal King a shout out real quick for quitting drinking. I think we've talked about that before, but keep it up, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
As my delinquent co-hosts get fucking paused on the camera.
Look, man, it's been a long week, and I was just telling you about my depression, so...
I mean, why not ratchet it up a notch with some alcohol?
I don't have an excuse. I'm just Irish.
There you go. No, I'm just giving you guys shit. And to be fair, like anybody who meets me just probably assumes I drink. Oh man, I'm glad we're here. I'm glad that I want to apologize to everybody for starting a little bit late. I'm glad we're doing the show tonight. I needed this. So yeah. we have a brand new expansion out. And last week we talked with Jelly about some of the cards and what we thought they were going to be doing to the ladder. Now that it's been a little bit longer, what have you guys seen? I know we just talked about not actually fucking playing, but like, what have you guys seen with the new cards?
So this gives me an excuse to talk about. I first played this deck last week, and I sent Justin a message on Discord, which he just saw because I don't think he ever uses Discord, saying, "Dude, you have to play this. This will make for an amazing video." And that's when I thought this was just kind of like a fun deck. Yeah. And I've been playing it more and more. I think it's not only a really fun deck, this might be the best deck in the game right now. I'm going to look at a chat for you guys. And it uses 2 of the new cards. It uses the Giant, which we talked about, and then Namira's Shrine. And this is by Warrior 7. It's similar to a build that Karakond was running before Namira's Shrine was released.
Okay.
It's basically the equivalent. I call it Miracle Warrior. If you ever played Hearthstone with Miracle Rogue, where you'll do those crazy turns with gadgets in, and just... insane. You can draw like 20 cards a turn. You can cycle through this so unbelievably quickly, and then Namira's Shrine keeps the cycle going as well. And then you just play Journey, and then you can OTK, or you can just play a billion Journey creatures. It's been one of the most fun decks I've ever played on ladder, and I haven't faced a deck that I'm like, I don't have a chance against this. I feel like this has good matchups against like so many different things. And it's really cool to see that, because it does use both of the Giant and the Shrine like really, really well. The Giant makes it's so much better against tokens and aggro, and then the Shrine makes it so much better against control. So,
I mean, I see Doomcrag Vampire, so I'm in.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll give this a shot and record with it tomorrow night.
Yeah, this is the one that I think has jumped out. Every card I think except the Singleton cards and Ulfric's Uprising is seeing play on like really high level stuff, which is amazing as far as the set goes. You release 12 cards, like 75% of the cards they released are seeing high level play, and then 3 more of them are seeing like play in Singleton decks, which people are kind of mostly just playing for fun. But still, there's like out of a set, maybe 1 card isn't really seeing a lot of play, which is insanely impressive.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's a great set, and it kind of like, you know. So for a long time, my favorite set has been the Madhouse collection. But I like the fact that this set is also full of cards that have all inspired people to do different new things, and that's what made Madhouse so great. There was no filler, you know.
Yeah, it's
no,
really,
there was
really cool.
there was like Forsaken Champion in Madhouse.
No, man, but like I have to say, like, I mean, granted, it appeals to the people who are building ridiculous stuff like I'm building, but like I have tried Argonian Tribal.
Just being able to say that. Hey, that just got buffed. It just got the Slime Marsh Blade. Maybe,
it did. That is.
We need to try that again.
I brought that up last week, man.
Yeah, I've got a new Altar Assassin that I want to try out that is running the Slime Marsh Blade. I've built the list, but I haven't given it a go yet.
And I have to say, Ulfric's Uprising, like I tried. So I mean, when I'm building new dumb things, like I take them against expert AI to see if I can make that happen. And after last week, we talked about the interaction that how much damage we could do with Wisp Mother, Afflicted Alit, and Ulfric's Uprising. And I tried and tried and tried, and I could not beat the AI with that. But I spent more time than I should have trying to pull that off. But it's a card that made me want to try something different.
Yeah, I haven't found. I want to make over because it seems like it could be really good. Like it's a 6 mana, essentially a mass Dark Rebirth, right?
Right.
That's usually what you use Dark Rebirth for. So I feel like there's room for it. It's just so hard to figure out exactly what.
Yeah.
The problem is that Dark Rebirth will also trigger Last Gasps, and it only requires like 1 target, right?
Yeah. Right.
This. Yeah. I was gonna say like this. You have to have at least 2 things with a summon ability. And hopefully they're like high powered, because for the same cost you could run like Dragon Priest Mask, which is more than likely going to be just as effective or better. So,
and it compares so incredibly unfavorably to Necrom Mastermind.
Yeah.
Which is better in like every conceivable way.
Yeah, it pays the neutral tax.
Like I don't even think. Because, like, you could say, okay, maybe you just run, like, a bunch of cheap stuff, and the idea is, like, you drop the cheap things with summons, like Harpies and Murkwater Witches, and then you also play this for, like, instant value. But, like, I don't even think that in this instance, that card is better than Wisp Mother. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I don't know, maybe it's one of those things that I keep earmarked for the future, and as the next set rolls around, I'll keep an eye on what's, revealed, and...
It's one of those cards that you have to look at every time new cards are released, just like, well, like a lot of cards. But I mean, I think in particular about Swindlers Market being a card that I look at every time we get new cards.
I miss Market, man. Ever since the Northwind Outpost nerf, I can't find a good version of it.
Yeah. Speaking of Market, I've seen Corey Millhouse a couple of times on Twitter playing a Namira's Shrine Swindlers Market Assassin deck with like Smuggler's Hall and a bunch of other stuff that he seems to be enjoying. I don't know what his win rate is with it, but he keeps saying that it's a ton of fun and it draws a million cards, and looking at his list, I would 100% believe it. So that sounds like it could be something right up Justin's alley, because all he does is like to draw cards.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing to do in the game, actually.
Who needs to play him? Just draw him. Just draw everyone.
Look, man, I tried to make what the fuck is that?
Daring Heist?
That's right, dude. I put Daring Heist in Swindlers Market decks after.
There we go.
Yeah, Warrior 7 in chat is correct. The Corey Millhouse deck is the Leafwater Fence OTK deck, but it's also got the other shell in it. So.
No, I'm excited to give the second.
Actually, we were just talking about that. I just brought that up. He left the chat at the wrong time. He's the one who made that list.
Yeah, I'm excited. Warriors, I'll be, if you don't mind, I'm going to be recording with that deck this weekend. Because it looks like a lot of fun, and it looks like something different.
I think he's currently sitting at #1 with it. I know he's either 2 or 1 with it earlier.
I mean, if it's that good, I'm gonna have to stop playing it because, like, anytime anything gets good, I stop playing it then too.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but it's good, but it's one of those like kind of hard to pilot decks, so you'll be fine.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like sometimes people send me lists to play, and I try them, and I realize as I'm losing like my fourth game, that I'm literally not smart enough to play this deck. So if that's the case, then like okay, like that's cool too. Chad is shouting out your closet door, which I have to admit is sort of ajar.
No, it's a door, Justin. It's not a jar.
It's so easy to fix that, but it's become like a part of the stream now. Like I can fix it in about 2 minutes.
It reminds me of like, do you guys like Bill Hicks, the comedian? Depending on how old you are, Ian, actually, Bill Hicks might have been dead your entire life.
Maybe. I don't know him.
Bill Hicks talks about this the first time he dropped acid, and he got into this car that had like a voice automated alarm system, or a voice like it talked to you basically. And so he was sitting there high on acid, and they turned off the car. They were idling on the side of the road because they're too fried to drive. And one of the dudes opened the door, and the door's like, "A door is ajar. A door is ajar." And he's like, "I must have sat there and tried to figure that one out for half an hour."
It's a very confusing riddle.
Yeah, absolutely. Bill Hicks is great though. My favorite part about Bill Hicks is the incredible irony of him joking all the time about smoking and how smoking was not bad for you, only for him to die of lung cancer.
Right.
Which I think he would appreciate, actually. Aside from the fact that he's dead.
Yeah, if you're a comedian, that's sort of the way you want to go out, right? Just go out ironically.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's a part of me... My wife was talking about George Carlin the other day, and I had this moment where I realized that there's a part of me that's really sad that we don't have him during a time like this in terms of like political atmosphere, because I feel like this is the perfect time for someone like him. But then there's also a part of me that's like kind of happy that he never had to see this, because I think he might have just died from an aneurysm.
Right. Well, you know, it was great listening to his old stuff, like back when George W. Bush was president, because all he was talking about was, he spent a lot of time talking about the fighting in Iraq. You could talk, like he would talk about President Bush. You know, like it was great. Like it was all still totally appropriate.
Yeah, I think he would probably just think it's hilarious.
We can.
I think he would just assume, like he would just think the fact that Trump is president is absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Like that's past the point of really being like, I told you so about it, and it's just like let's all enjoy this train wreck together.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the new cards for the expansion.
There we go. Yeah, we're back on topic.
That's right. I actually had Bleak Coast Troll played against me today, and I appreciated it. It was cool to see the most boring but like obviously powerful of the cards played on the ladder, and it was I have to say, like it served him better than any other card would have served him in that situation. And I like that Bleak Coast Troll is like the hook for the people who aren't looking for a new Madhouse collection. Like you still get stuff like Bleak Coast Troll, right?
Yep.
Obviously powerful cards. I think Cradle Crush Giant is kind of up there with that, but like I appreciate Bleak Coast Troll, and I love the fact that it was the first card revealed too.
I really like Bleak Coast Troll because it gives me even more excuses to play Fell the Mighty, which is a card that I think is like quietly powerful, and it sneaks up on people. And I've been throwing it into basically anything that was like red-ish control that I have. Like I said, I was running 2 in that Merrick deck that I was playing, performing very well right now. There's a lot of things with 4 or more power.
Now that we've had a week to think about it and see it in action, how has Voice of Balance been affecting the games that you guys have played?
It's completely crazy. It's a really, really good card.
It is really strong.
I have 2 variations, the Sorcerer and the Battle Mage, which have both been performing really, really well.
Yeah.
There was one night where I played the Battle Mage, and I literally did not lose for about a 3-hour stream. Wow. It's incredibly powerful. It's a really good build around, and this is what I've said this on stream before. I love the fact that this is a new card that takes old cards and makes you look at them a second time. Like Corsair ship.
Corsair ship's exactly it.
Yeah. It was like it was never even that bad of a card. It's just like it wasn't good enough, and now you play it because you play Voice of Balance, but you realize, hey, Corsair ship's actually pretty amazing. Like Corsair ship and Bone Colossus, that's an amazing combination. Because now if they kill the Bone Colossus, I still got all the 2 attacks that get through anyway. So
2 attacks. What kind of Bone Colossus are you playing?
Right?
It's got the oh yeah. Well, it's post bug now. They all got all the skeletons have little daggers and
Yeah.
Listen, there's nobody who is more excited about this new set than me, as I had already crafted 3 premium Corsair ships because it was played in Time to Fight Battle Mage during that original incarnation. So I was ready to go for this.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I was playing against I was playing support mage, and I've just decided to start running, just being contrarian. Like instead of running Journey to Sovngarde in support mage, I run 3 cast into times and 3 memory rights because it takes up the slots that I would otherwise be playing with those. And I was playing against Sorcerer, and it was Mr. Cheesy Poof, actually, the streamer and content creator, and he was running Voice of Balance in there, and I have never been so satisfied to play 3 memory rights than I was in that game.
Does it actually shut him off? I've never actually encountered that.
It does. Okay. And here's the kicker in that matchup. He Galen's Voice of Balance because he's all in on this, and I hit that Voice of Balance the very next turn with Cast into Time.
Yep.
Yeah, the Memory Wraith, because it gets rid of stuff in your discard pile. If any of the things that would trigger Voice of Balance, specifically, I think the actions, right? Doesn't Voice of Balance require action, support?
Yeah. Action, support,
item?
and item. Either player and graveyard. I thought it was you just had to play it. I didn't. Oh no, it does say discard pile.
It does. It has to say discard pile because the actions obviously don't stay on the board, right? So if you Memory Wraith and you get rid of their discard pile, then they have no actions, and so the voice can't trigger.
Right. Very, very satisfying. Very satisfying.
It also can't trigger if you banish it. It's really hard for it to trigger when it's cast into time.
Exactly.
Then we gotta wait for the Skyrim sequel.
I have to say, like, that's right. When we had Pete on the show, actually, we beforehand we were like, all right, so low key, how are we gonna make fun of the fact that there's no Elder Scrolls 6 and get him to talk about it? And that's an ongoing goal of mine.
There were people in the chat yesterday that were asking him about Skyrim 2.
Absolutely. It's kind of just something that happens. But I have to say, like, I have not missed. The fact there's no prophecy on Cast into Time has never bothered me. Like since I've been playing with it, and I have been super impressed with that card too.
Yeah, it's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I think it's better against mid range than what. It's the same thing with Hollow Death Priest. Is I thought, okay, it's an anti-control card, but I don't think it's good enough. But it is good against mid range. Like just hitting when I was playing mid range Sorcerer, if they hit like. I was playing Worm King's Agent instead of Bone Colossus. If they just hit that, it's like, okay, cool. I have no more top end. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
See, that's why I like running Worm King's Agent instead of Bone Colossus, because even though I still want to play the Worm King's Agent and I fully believe in that card, I also feel like I'm less angry if that gets hit than if a Bone Colossus gets hit.
Wait, because it's a worse card?
Yeah, I don't follow that.
Fucking traitor, dude. What is that?
No. Not because it's worse. No. It's because it's more conditional. Right? So a Bone Colossus, somebody hits that, then Bone Colossus is the kind of card that you just slap down no matter what, right? Worm King's Agent isn't necessarily the case. It's a little bit more finesse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Worm King's Agent isn't always on curve. Yeah. Good old Bone Daddy. Bone Colossus it's such an interesting card, right? Because it's been in and out of the meta since closed beta. Yeah. Right? There are times when Bone Colossus is everywhere, and there's times where it's nowhere at all. I like it.
Yeah, it sort of came back once Atromancer got nerfed, but then everybody just kept playing tokens.
Yeah.
So nobody could play mid-range purple, but
right.
And now they did the second round of nerfs, so it came back right in time for it to be bugged.
Right.
But I think it should be played in a lot of different stuff. I hope mid-range scout is good. I haven't gotten a chance to really test it. I was waiting for Bone Colossus to get fixed.
I've run into a lot more than I ever expected I would.
I was waiting for Bone Colossus to get fixed as well, but I think that mid-range scout with Bleak Coast Troll and some of the other stuff, like it was already like on the cusp of being good because it kind of gets the best parts of Sorcerer and Assassin, and I think that it's got enough juice. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to trying that.
I've been itching to retry Rage Archer again too. I haven't played Rage Archer since the nerf, but again, that's one of the decks I want to slap the new Giant into.
Yeah, that was actually my thinking behind wanting to play that deck too.
Because people will still like lane stack and do things like that a couple of turns before your Rage would hit, right? Trying to go for that kind of crushing game-winning push, and then if you can hit him with the Giant and kind of scatter him a bit, then
right.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Ian, you must be popular this week because we just got we were retweeted tonight by the Elder Scrolls Legends Twitter, which doesn't always happen.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, you've also hold on. That reminds me of something else I wanted to bring up. You're not on Twitter. What the hell?
Yeah, no. You can find me. I think I don't really do like Twitter or Facebook or social media. I made a Discord because people complained at me, and nobody reads the Twitch page where you like post updates. So I just use that if like I'm not going to stream for whatever reason.
Are you at Ianbits? Do you have a locked Twitter account?
I might have a locked Twitter account. Is it a face? Is it like a :/ face?
Yes.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Yeah, I just followed you too, which actually means that you increased the number of followers you have by 20%.
I did it.
Yeah, I think you have to like approve us to see you though, but
that's funny.
I don't actually tweet. The only time I've used that in the past like 5 years was to annoy people at Twitch and try to get them to get back to me about partner applications.
Nice.
Yeah, Twitter is legitimately the only social media I use. Like I have a Facebook account, but I sign into it once a month.
Dude, my cat has a Facebook account.
I don't have a Facebook account either.
I didn't have a Facebook account until I started streaming.
Yeah.
Then I made one because there were some requests that I had, but like I said, I sign in like once a month just to check notifications. But Twitter is easy and it's on the phone, and it forces me to be concise, and I prefer it.
Dude, I like one of the most positive people on Facebook that I follow is your wife. Like, she posts really positive stuff.
I wouldn't know.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
Do you know how angry she was when she found out that because I had an account. Here's the thing. I had my Facebook account like years and years and years ago. I never signed into it. And then friends of mine would like invite me to parties and stuff through like the invitation thing on Facebook. And then I wouldn't end up going. And then like the day after the party, like coworkers would be like, "Hey man, you didn't go to Mark's thing last night. How come?" I didn't know about it. Well, dude, we sent you the invite on Facebook. Well, yeah, but like you knew a month prior and you didn't say anything to me at all during any of our face-to-face interactions. Well, no, man, we did it through Facebook. So I deleted my Facebook account so that they couldn't send me fucking invites through there.
Yeah.
And then, so I create Facebook for streaming, and when my wife found out that I had an account but we weren't friends, like, it caused a really big argument. Like, I was like, but I'm not friends with anybody, honey. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You need to be friends with me. Fine. Like,
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
I feel like not being Facebook friends with your wife is kind of unacceptable in 2018.
Well, this would have been like 2016-ish, but yeah, still. The point is, I don't use it a lot. So if you're on Facebook, you can get a hold of me that way, but I just know that I only check like once a month. Twitter and Discord are far better options.
Yeah. I used a lot of Discord during the Legends closed beta. Like, and that's also when I got into Reddit, and like it was a real active community and stuff. And then this almost a year ago now, I lost my job at the homeless shelter I was working at, and I got a new job where I'm still employed and love, and Discord is blocked at work. It's like the only thing. Like I'm on Twitter, I'm on all sorts of stuff, but
A lot of networks will block it because Discord not only lets you do these video calls, but you can do screen sharing, and then you can even do like some remote control features, and those will trigger certain firewall protocols. And so unless they make a specific exception, it'll block it. Like I think my last 3 jobs have all blocked Discord as well. Just put it on your phone.
No, it is on my phone. That's how I do those things. I caught myself this time.
Those were you gonna say like campsite broadcasts? What do you mean caught yourself?
Well, no, because I'm always saying shit I'm not supposed to say on this podcast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Things that may or may not require an NDA. Gotcha.
Right, it's never really clear to me what I'm allowed to talk about. Because
it's a pretty high level campsite if they have an NDA. Usually, Usually campsites can't afford lawyers. That's pretty crazy.
Listen,
I mean, if they had one, I wouldn't be able to talk about it. So.
You can't just go to like any old like Justin is too good for Chatterbait. All right, Justin is a high class. Like Justin isn't on Snapchat. Okay, you've got to know the secret handshake to get one-on-one Justin time.
That's right. Or you could sign up for my Patreon, and then I'll do whatever you ask me to do.
You are such a good Twitch streamer, and you don't even know it.
I've streamed.
You lure them into your Patreon so that they can get the one up, which is actually that is one of the few things that has officially changed with the new Twitch terms of service. They did talk about the idea of because some streamers will provide. They'll not do it on stream, obviously, but they'll provide additional services if you subscribe to Patreon or do things. They'll make access to Snapchat or lewds, as they're called.
Nice.
And they have said that you cannot advertise that on your Twitch channel anymore. So.
Do people do that?
Yeah, yes, people do. You're so sweet and naive, Justin.
I don't watch Twitch.
Never go to the IRL section. Never go to the IRL section.
No, he needs to at least once. Like, you've got to... It's just like Tide Pods. You have to eat at least one to understand, right?
My Tide Pod days are...
I think Tide Pods, at least one is the same as at most one.
Yeah.
You're going to have the same result.
Is that the case? Oh, hold on. Oh, wait. I got the auto hosting to work out. I am hosting Charmer right now. That's pretty nice.
What?
We did it.
Yeah.
Dude, I have we should jump off this subject immediately after I'm done telling the story before we
Nice.
talk too much about it. But I have auto host set up, and it's set up to auto host channels that are like my channel if nobody on my auto host list is on.
Uh-huh.
And every single time it's Cassettin.
Oh my god, dude.
I caught it during the Bethesda stream the other day because they were linking it, and I was accidentally hosting Cassettin instead of the Bethesda stream, and Solid Age gave me crap about it.
Yeah, I set up a specific list. Like, I do the ordering and the whole nine, right? Like
I do too, but nobody there's a long period where nobody on my auto host is usually streaming.
Charmer just auto hosts Lady Devon all the time.
She's at the bottom too. She just is like Ian's talking about. She hits that perfect time slot.
Yeah. She's currently live with Monster Hunter World. In fact, I've never seen her play Legends.
She did for a bit, for quite some time.
It's cool though. Like, you know, it's funny. Like, Ian, you're talking about starting to play right before here's a Skyrim dropped and the Twitch Drops thing happened or started. It's cool to see like new streamers you know, pop up and become big and stuff. Like I really appreciate the fact that there's like multiple generations of streamers, and the game continues to attract new content creators. Like, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of a statement on even when obviously it was completely unsustainable, but it was amazing that I felt like it was so much easier to get into the game when they did drops, and I ended up spending money because of it, because like, okay, yeah. So I don't mind. I'm into this game now. I don't mind spending money because they had those huge drops, and I would get like a legendary a day, which is obviously again completely unsustainable, but
right.
It was really cool. I don't know if I've like compared to other free to play games, it's completely insane. I've been playing for 6 months, and I spent like $50 and I have pretty much a full collection. And
Absolutely.
if you did the same thing in Hearthstone, you wouldn't even have one full expansion.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's an interesting thought. We've got to be coming pretty close to a pack-based expansion in the near future. And part of it, I think, was when... stop laughing, Justin. Part of it was because it was the first time Twitch Drops had ever launched, right? But part of it was also to coincide with the release of Heroes of Skyrim, right? The big drops that everyone talks about. What do we think is the most likely outcome in terms of Twitch Drops when we get another big expansion? Do you think we'll see an uptick again? Do you think they'll do some other kind of special?
Well, I really like where Twitch Drops are at now, right? Like, you know, they were unsustainable and crazy insane. And then for a while I was getting like 50 gold like once a week or whatever. Because I mean, like, look, I get my Twitch Drops when I host the podcast or the Mondays that I remember to stream. But like, I like the new Twitch Drops where you get like event tickets. Like I've gotten several of the 3 event ticket drops, and I think those are really cool and like the perfectly appropriate amount of reward. But obviously, like Twitch Drops are going to change. You know, like AJ and Matt have both said on Reddit and when I interviewed them that like they're working on ways to incentivize watching live streamers, and I would have to imagine that comes with the new set.
Well, I think the part of that is a like Twitch API end though. So if it's not ready by then, I'm just, you know,
I don't know
when you're trying to attract new players and, you know, they might come in and feel behind, right? Like that was one of the beauties of the initial like big drops, was they knew that they were going to do a lot of marketing because it was Heroes of Skyrim. They were expecting new players to come in, so the big drops were supposed to catch them up, right? So I was just thinking, you know, if they do something similar, you know, what are we...
do they really need, like, considering how absurd the value in the starter decks was, I don't know if they need to, right? Because, like, in terms of catching people up for value, that was such an easy... Yeah, just buy this instantly. It had, like, a bunch of must-play epics and a legendary for, like, 500 gold, which you can get in, like, you know, 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought a couple of them because it's such great value.
Here's another interesting thought, right? When Clockwork City launched, one of the drops that you could get was the first act.
Yeah.
What if...
Like a week.
Right. So, like, what if when they... Let's say they do a pack-based one and we get, like, 5 more starter decks or whatever.
Yeah.
What if they give you, like, a voucher for picking up a starter deck if you don't already own one or something?
That'd be pretty cool.
I think
that
would
also
be...
do something like... I'm sorry, good.
I was going to say that. I mean, I think that would be really cool, right?
Yeah. At some point, unless, I mean, you know, I'm within a year or a year and a half, like we're going to start getting to the point where there is a higher barrier to the cost of playing, where, you know, because there's so much content out there. So, you know, barring a, you know, set rotation kind of thing that gets set up eventually, I think they should start giving away the entire core set for free, frankly.
That's a lot of stuff for free.
I think... That's just my thought.
Yeah, that is a whole lot of stuff. One thing they might instead, if they don't go with that route, is just raise the level cap, because I remember leveling up was actually like a really good way to get cards when you're first starting. So just like increasing the level cap and saying like, okay, every level you get, so it's like an extra 50 packs for new players just for playing.
You know, it would be actually pretty nifty for new players as well. Thinking about just specifically targeting that audience.
Yeah.
They could do something like augment the 3-win rewards if you're below level 50. Right? So for the people who haven't hit the level cap yet, maybe their 3-win rewards, instead of being like the 15 gold and a card. I know there's 15 to 50, and I know that sometimes it's not a card, it's a pack or a legend or whatever, right? But like maybe they throw like 2 or 3 cards at you per 3-win reward, right? Like 1 core, 1 Skyrim, and then 1 from whatever the new set is, if you're below level 50, right? And then when you hit 50, it just goes back to what everyone else knows. But that would be, in my opinion, a pretty easy thing to implement, and give that carrot on a stick to the new players.
They did also do double drop weekends before, which was basically them going back to the original drops, which was 600 gold, 1500 gems, or a legendary pack is basically the only ones. Right. So that's something they could do, like with the release of a new expansion, bring that back for like a week. just to get people watching streams again, get them back into the game, get them buying stuff. So.
Absolutely. You know, I had to share this. I just had a funny thought. Like, so I'm getting married in May, and I'm gonna take a honeymoon. And I was thinking, here's my thought. I was like, I need to try hard on the ladder one season again. Get, you know, top 50, top 20 legend or something like that, like I used to do. And I was like, when am I gonna have free time to do this? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take some vacation in May. And then I was like, oh yeah, if I say this out loud without mentioning that I'm not gonna do it, Sandra will kill me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good idea, Justin.
Yeah. I was
I'm
like,
with you, though.
what a great way to end my honeymoon with divorce.
I'm with you. I haven't like try-harded on the ladder in almost a full year, and I was having the same thought recently. I was like, I need to pick a month.
Yeah.
Sometime here in the near future where I was trying to look at the calendar and say like, okay, like what month is going to have like some days off from work? Because ultimately that's what it needs, right? Like it's just you got to play enough volume, and I just don't play enough volume.
Yeah. That's sort of what I'm doing this month, because I have to do extended stream times because I need to even out my numbers for the application. So I can't do 6 hours of memes a night. I can do like 3 hours of memes and sometimes like 2 hours of memes and then get bored and not stream anymore. But if I'm actually tryharding, then I can convince myself to go for longer. Just keep pressing the play button. So that's my goal, and it's been more fun than I thought it was gonna be. I'm enjoying, you know, it mostly because I haven't been losing that much. I assume when I start losing and I drop like 40 spots in a night, I'm gonna hate everything and never want to play the game again. But
yeah, I hear you.
You're just laughing because Justin can't remember the last time he dropped 40 spots for anything.
No, I haven't hit legend in like 4 or 5 seasons.
Yeah, I at least hit legend. I will say that. Like I always make sure that I hit legend, but then usually that's when I start breaking out the memes, and then like 4 days before the season's over, I'm like, maybe I should try hard, and then I never do. So that's always my problem.
Actually, you know, I was thinking about this, Charmer. And I'm not going to do this because, like, I don't care that much, but I was thinking that I could get over so, like, I have the follower numbers and, like, the, you know, viewership and stuff when I actually stream, that I could get affiliate if I just streamed 6 times in a month or whatever, which I've managed to pull off for, you know, whatever, for a lot of reasons. But we could cheat, and for a month, we could host the podcast on my channel.
I mean, that's honestly not a bad idea, because I feel like it's. I mean, again, you get like good numbers because people know who you are from like YouTube and stuff, so they would come over. It's like it's weird for people to see like channels that they perceive as big that don't have sub button, and I would think they would probably perceive you as like a bigger channel because they know your name.
Right. I mean, like I get, you know, 100, 200 viewers when I stream. I have like 1,000 followers or something like that, but I've streamed 7 times. We could do it. We could do it, Charmer. You can enable my bullshit. I
mean, we could.
Just to clarify, because this is something that somebody brought up actually on my stream the other day. About drinking on stream, which is something that they mentioned. They mentioned it alongside like drug use and stuff like that. And the way they put it is as drinking in excess. Yes. So what they want to prevent is they want to prevent idiots from drinking a whole lot and getting sick because they're trying to get people to come watch them do stupid things.
Yeah, they don't want you to die.
They're not trying to prevent people from like kind of relaxing and just like having a beer while they're, you know, shooting the shit.
Wait, are eating Tide Pods against the new terms of service?
Not explicitly.
I'm assuming yes, but if you try it, you probably won't have an issue with that. I would guess. I would guess there will be other issues.
I mean, here's the real truth, Justin. Yeah. Nothing is against the terms of service unless they report you, because they're not like they're not scoping around trying to catch like every person. Like it's entirely 100% based on like the people who report, right? So, you know, if you're live and like your 10 viewers or whatever don't care if you're eating Tide Pods, then you're fine.
Oof.
What they don't want you to do is be like 1 Tide Pod per sub.
Right.
I got the Tide Pod challenge going, boys. Let's do this. Let's. I do like to see lately, like how much the rebroadcaster beating us every time we do the show.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's been terrible today because CVH didn't stream. It was like 4 out of 6 earlier.
So yeah, let's check in real quick. Just the Lazy Gamers clocking in 5 times, well, 5 or 6 or 7 times actually more viewers than we are, and yeah, it's good times.
I think that we should have him on as a guest.
I actually thought about that.
Yeah, I did too. I think I messaged you about it once, actually.
Yeah.
I'm legitimately worried that because he knows I'm trying to get partner and he doesn't like me because I really don't like him. I'm legitimately worried he might host me just to screw up my numbers.
That's funny. I have to admit, every interaction I've ever had with the guy has been positive. I mean, like, he's always been cool with me, but like, you know, I'm not a fan of the rebroadcast either.
Yeah, what you guys should do is just record like his part earlier and then like have him on as a rebroadcast guest.
Oh my God, Trevor, your soundboard.
Oh, that would be funny.
We'll figure this out off the air.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's so dangerous.
Is it? Can we get in trouble for that?
I mean, I don't know. I'll have to.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we can do it on my channel because I don't care if I get banned from Twitch.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Okay. So, I was thinking about, like, you know, we're probably, my guess is we're gonna get a new gauntlet in the next couple weeks, right? Because it's been a while, right? Or was there one last week?
There was like one last weekend, and I was
shit.
really looking forward to playing in it. And
yeah, it was the regular one. It was,
okay.
So there should be one next week, right? It's probably Chaos Arena usually.
Yeah, it's been a while since we did Chaos Arena. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, there we go. Let's combine the two. Let's do Chaos Arena Gauntlet.
Chaos that'd actually be a super interesting idea.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. Chaos Arena is one of my favorite things to do in this game. I would love to do it.
I mean, I know it's like a joke for the Chaos Arena thing, but I think the idea of re-rolling in Arena with the Wabajack is actually something that should just be in Arena. Like, you don't have to do the cross-class thing, but having 5 re-rolls per draft would make drafts like so much more consistent. I think that was
an
really
interesting
cool.
idea.
I honestly wish that they gave you set rarity like pop-ups for Arena. Personally, right?
Like, what everybody gets one legendary.
Yeah, but also like at set picks too. Like, I think there would be legit strategy, right? If like every time your 15th card was a legend, your 10th card was an epic, and so that when you go in, you know, because like with a Magic, there's 2 different kinds of sealed formats, right? There's draft, and then there's just straight sealed, and straight sealed
limited formats,
yeah, limited formats, right? So like with straight sealed, unless somebody pulls like a foil rare, because then that throws off the rarity numbers. Other than that, everybody has the same pool to choose from, right? And then with draft, in theory, if everybody takes one of the highest rarity cards available to them before they ship their pack, again, that does not always happen, but in theory, everybody has access to the same number. But with our draft format, that is not the case. There's been times where I've done an arena draft and I legitimately had like 2 epics, a handful of rares, no legends, and I will play against a guy that'll play like 4 legends, right? That's not fun for basically anybody. So I do think that if they just said like, all right, like on your 10th pick, this is an epic, on your 15th, it's a legend, on your 20th, it's an epic again, and then sprinkling in, rares and whatever. I think that would be like really cool way to do it.
I definitely. So I'm a much bigger fan of Arena and Chaos Arena and Solo Arena even than I am about trying hard in the ladder anymore. I would love to see some changes though to encourage more people to play those formats.
Yep.
So in that vein, if you've ever played Direwolf Digital's other game, Eternal has like a draft format leaderboard, right? I would like to see something like that for Legends, but I think that you have to do part 1 before you do part 2, because again, there's got to be some level of consistency, because Eternal drafts like Magic. It doesn't mean you're always going to take the highest rarity, but everybody has access to typically the same number of rarity and whatever's, because it's like that draft format. So if you do something to make the arena runs slightly more consistent and then introduce leaderboards, I think you'd get a lot more people just doing dedicated arena, because Eternal has that. There are some people who will like stream Eternal and they only stream arena, for example.
Yeah, they have a straight draft league. Like they have the same ranking system they have for their constructed ladder they have for draft, which is really cool. And I think that'd be cool because I think that's one of the issues if you watched like CVH play arena a lot, is there's a big disparity in like level of opponents between like some people who are just playing arena because it's really new player friendly, and arena is probably what you should do if you're a new player. You don't really understand as much, and you're put up against these people who are like tryharding in arena. And I think that might improve the experience for everybody involved. Like if it felt like really good to go 7 wins because you know you're facing people who are all like as good as you, that would be, I think that would put a lot more achievement in it.
I would try hard for a season on arena to try to place top 10 on an arena leaderboard.
Yeah, that would be really cool. That would give me a reason to play arena, because currently I'm like,
You're right about the arena skill level though, right? Like the huge disparity. Like one stream I blew through like 2,000 gold to try to draft a monocolor arena deck.
Oh yeah.
And I still managed to go 7 wins.
Anyway.
I ended up with 29 purple cards and 1 red card. Because like I couldn't pull it off. But when back when they used to put us on the test servers with accounts full of gold and shit, I would do the same thing. I just blow through the accounts gold to draft a monocolor deck. I did that the first time we did Chaos Arena.
Well, that's the place to do in Chaos Arena.
So in next Chaos Arena, Justin, you've got to stream if you can find some time, and you have to do the like only left stream or draft, right? So like regardless of what 3 cards are showing, like you always pick the one that's the most to the left or the most to the right or the middle, right? Like you pick a slot, and then regardless of what shows up, no matter how good it is, you just take the card in the slot and then try to make it work.
I can do that. I mean, I used to go 7 wins in arena when Sandra would draft my cards, and like she doesn't know how to play the game.
I have another challenge. If they do the Wabajek thing where you can reroll cards, what you need to do is try to make it so you have a class that's different than the one you picked. So you have monocolor, except you Wabajek for once. You play as a monk, and like you'll draft all green cards, and then Wabajek into a purple card, and you play as a scout, even though you picked monk.
I like it. I'll try that. Yeah, I definitely would do that.
I wonder if it would actually still show as monk or scout.
That's what I wonder. I don't know what it would show as.
Like when you queue it up against your opponent. Like that's interesting.
I'm definitely down. I'm gonna do that.
I'm just curious to see how the game handles it.
Yeah. No, I got that. That's a good idea. I'm thinking about this now. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Because like I love playing arena. Because like I love playing cards that you don't see, and every game is different, right? Like you get all these cool experiences. I think it's a lot. I think honestly, this is why I think that Chaos Arena is one of the most skill testing formats in the game.
Whoa.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
Which one of us has been drinking tonight?
Hold on. Because I still consistently get 7 wins in Chaos Arena.
That's how I know it's not.
Get the fuck out of here, because I know I'm a good player.
Can we say besides the zoo lane? Can we at least make that qualification? Besides the zoo lane.
And the deck swap.
No, deck swap is the ultimate skill test.
Yeah.
The ultimate skill test, man. I think I got deck swap against CVH one time. All right. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Because like I draft really weird decks. And he, his deck was like full of great creatures. I just played him on curve and I won, right? And I was like, I wonder which one of us ultimately won here, right? Because like he's like probably looking at my deck like, what the fuck is this pile of garbage? And I felt really bad for beating him with his totally reasonable deck.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. I find that there's actually a decent amount of skill in the one where you both get Wabajek, because usually people use Wabajek really poorly, and if you use it smartly, you can use that as a big advantage.
I agree. I think the Wabajek's great. Holy crap, Moxfire Gaming is in chat.
Yeah.
What's up, man? I haven't seen you around forever. I guess there's like a 30-second delay, so...
No, it's not even like 30 seconds. It's like 3 seconds, but... Like, Mox went to play Gwent for a bit, and then went to the moon, but he's around every now and then.
Nice. Really fun. Sweet. What's the best thing in the game, Doppelganger, Ian?
For meme value or for like functional value?
Both are acceptable answers.
For meme value, obviously it's Barbas after choosing fetch, because he fetches a Barbas and then you doppelganger and you fetch another Barbas, so you can potentially get an infinite board of Barbai, which is
Nice.
obviously the dream. Functionally, it's freaking hilarious to doppelganger High King Emmerich, because it counts as itself, and then the next Emmerich counts as itself.
I like it.
Completely insane.
I really like Bone Colossus because,
Yeah,
you know, why not join the broken bug train?
There it is.
there you go. When we were talking last week, we were talking about doppelganger. I'm gonna like empty board, ramp sorcerer, so because you have to have the extra magicka. What is the card? Supreme Atromancer, doppelganger, Elfric Uprising. Right? How much damage is that?
Enough.
Yeah, we were thinking.
21 magic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but look, in Sorcerer, you can slap a Staff of Sparks on a Venom Tongue, so Magicka doesn't...
Good call.
Yeah. Right? When did Staff of Sparks get changed? Was that in open beta or closed beta?
That was closed.
Alright, god damn it. Alright.
I'm disappointed that the dream of doppelgangering a doppelganger is not possible. They thought ahead on that one. We could do an infinite loop of doppelganging.
No,
They
it's
just-
possible.
They straight up just don't let you, I believe. Like, they don't even if it's empty board, they don't let you
Oh, really?
doppelgang a doppelgang. Yeah, just
Oh.
straight up the game just doesn't allow it.
Well,
Interesting.
that's lame.
Just like no target thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is probably for the best.
I think Naked Doppelganger might be my new favorite meme, just in terms of like everyone's always like, you know, mud crab this and mud crab that, but I think winning with a naked doppelganger might be even more satisfying.
Okay, hold on. Let me think real quick. So you have to have an empty board, right?
He's been thinking about the Atromancer thing the entire time we've been talking.
No. Now I'm thinking about ways to kill somebody with a naked doppelganger. Okay. It's got to be. I mean, the most obvious one is opponents at 1 life. You control nothing on the board, and you have a Munda Stone in play, and your doppelganger gets charged. Right? Like
Yeah.
that works. How else do I do this?
You play your naked doppelganger, and then you play Nord Firebrand, and then you play Mentor's Ring, but you only swing with the doppelganger.
Yeah, I like that. That's a more consistent way to give charge. I like it.
It's an 11 Magicka, like Mudcrab Ankle Snapper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It doesn't get past guard. It's amazing.
it doesn't need to. It's a naked doppelganger, man.
Yeah.
It's Mystique in blue form. It's worth it.
Oh, I like it. It's a more reliable kill than some of the decks I've tried. I like it.
That's interesting. I gotta try that.
All right.
It lets you cancel, right? Even if you have stuff on the board, it lets you cancel, right? I think it does.
So it reminds me of the. Okay, yeah, I'll think about this. Because last week we thought about ways to kill people with Tullius's conscription, and that's how I ended up with a couple great videos. So I'll figure this out.
Yeah, Tullius conscription is becoming a big thing on the ladder.
Yeah, it's actually. I'll be honest. I've been thinking. I'm actually not. I'm actually kind of not into the Journey Tullius's thing in general.
Yeah, I mean, I understand it. I don't think it's that big of an issue, but I understand why people dislike it. I mean, it does kind of centralize control decks a lot, which isn't that fun.
I think that a lot of the people who don't like it are probably people who didn't play when Merrick was the powerhouse of the format. Because the reality is, if you remember like old school Merrick, back when Atromancer was 9...
I didn't like playing against that deck either.
Well, right, but I'm just saying, like, I think that if you did play against that, though, you're like more acceptable, at least in my opinion, of Tullius, because at least Tullius doesn't kill you most of the time right away. Like, obviously the charge version does, but Like,
Yeah, but the charge
Merit
version is
Battle Mage used to
much
just
worse than
win,
putting it in
right?
other-
Like, it was a control deck that once it got to like turn 9 or turn 10, like it would just win. And Tullius's Conscription is just a control deck that when it gets to turn 11 creates a board that you can't answer, and then they win the next turn. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it just plays very similarly, but it's actually harder to pull off the Conscription one. Like,
yeah. And to be clear, the charge version is just worse than putting in that combo in an otherwise reasonable deck.
Yeah. The charge version is just kind of funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's not particularly good. It could be good in the right meta. We do not live in that meta.
This is not that meta.
No.
It's I think it's the I mentioned this earlier when I was talking with I think Griffin and a couple other people. Journey is the first card that makes me like think like, okay, when are they going to start talking about rotation? Like, obviously it's too late considering like
I totally agree,
because Journey is a card that's like, it's cool to have, but you don't want this to be a part of the game forever. You want this to sort of like revert back to the old way of control. So
I totally agree.
It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
And because it does feel like the fact that Tullius Conscription is an 11 mana card that in a vacuum isn't that good, but people are still complaining about it. That's got to be an annoying from a design space perspective, right? Like, we made this 11 mana. What are you guys complaining about? It's 11.
Oh my God,
Justin!
Justin!
Should win you the game.
Hold on.
What?
Stop the press here.
Yeah.
You need to play all of your doppelgangers naked and Dark Rebirth a bunch of them into the grave, and then play Journey to shuffle them back in.
Yes.
And then use Conscription to pull out a board full of buffed up but naked doppelgangers.
I like it. This could be, so the creatureless challenge, and the one that preceded that, the Mud Crab OTK challenge. Yeah, do you know about this, Ian?
No, I know the creatureless challenge. I don't know the Mud Crab OT.
Yeah, did you ever pull this off, Charlie? It was Moxfire, right? This was his idea. Moxfire challenged people to you could only kill somebody with a mud crab, and at the time there was only one mud crab.
Just enraged mud crab.
Yeah, and you had to do it with one turn. You had to swing for 30 or more with it, right?
Yeah.
And it was Moxfire's idea. It was great. It was one of the most satisfying things I've ever done. Was kill someone with a mud crab that was buffed to 30 plus power.
Nice.
Chat is reminding us that Tullius's Conscription only pulls one copy, so we'd only get one giant naked doppelganger.
I think that Charge Battle Mage deck would be a legitimate thing if that was the qualifier, because you could just get a bunch of Firebrands pretty easily.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up taking out the Firebrand. I still have the one that gives you 2 of them, but I took out just the plain Firebrands from the deck.
Yeah, you only get one of them. I played that deck a whole bunch, and I wasn't 100% on that, because number one, every time I probably already won the game, and number two, I also had Camel in the deck, so every time I did it, I didn't actually get to see everything getting summoned, because it would bring up the draw card screen from the Camel.
Oh no!
So I didn't actually get to see anything happen. I didn't know how the mechanics worked.
That's so sad.
I was just distracted by the Camel.
That's sad. Did you I can only run. You can only run a couple non-charge creatures in that stupid version. I went with the Harpy and then just accepted that I probably end up playing the 5/5 for 4 that the Vanguard gives you.
Yeah.
What were you? Did you like the Camel more?
I forget. I felt like I didn't draw enough without the Camel. Let me look at it though.
Yeah.
I think it was just Camel and Harpy, and I tried not to play the 5/5, but it didn't really work. Oh, there it is. It's up to 21%. Oh my god.
Nice.
It's insane. Why won't it let me?
Because I tried versions that ran Studious Greybeard. I tried running. I put Merrick in it. Just because, like,
I ran Schemer too.
Yeah, Elusive Schemer. But my problem with Schemer is that a couple times when I was testing the deck out, like, I ended up with too many.
I didn't run Harpy. That's why I should have run Harpy. That was
okay.
dumb. Yeah, I ran just draw. I was a believer. I was like, nah, this will make it.
Okay. Yeah, Skeever is a good one too. I even ran Dark Harvester a couple times. And Anna and Mon asks, will there be spell power effects in the future? I don't know, but I mean, like, there's not nearly as much spell damage cards in this game as there are in like Hearthstone or Magic.
I mean, there are, but the reason that I don't think there will ever be, like, if there is, it'll be on a unique legendary or something. There won't be a bunch of them because they don't ever want to create a scenario where at 12 Magicka you can like triple lightning bolt somebody for, 20 plus damage or whatever, right? So
A Malagos.
right, that's what I'm saying. Like it, or even just giving you multiples. You know what I mean? Like even if they had, like, think about what's the Kobold from Hearthstone? That's like a 2/2 that gives +1 spell power.
Yeah.
Like that plus Wisp Mother sets up a lightning bolt fiesta. You know what I mean? I don't think that's the sort of thing they want in the game.
Right.
It would bring thievery back into the meta.
Dude, thievery. That's one of the most like I think actually thievery. Well, I don't mind dying to thievery as much as I mind dying to ransack. Dying to ransack, which actually happened on the ladder quite a bit about a year ago now, right? Wouldn't have been like last time this. Yeah.
Actually, it would have been about 14 months ago.
14 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. When Action Assassin was all over the place.
Oh, well, I was thinking Prophecy Assassin. I died more.
Right.
I died more to Ransack from Prophecy Assassin. I died more to Thievery from Action Assassin.
Either way, it was Ransack's such a because you never ever play. You never play around it. Never. But like, man, when it kills you, it hurts.
Just deep down inside.
Yeah, they ransack your brain and your dignity.
They do.
I saw that a lot during the gauntlet that was just the commons and the rares. I think I lost 2 games to Prophecy Ransack.
Yeah.
Just didn't consider it.
Eat my Ransack.
My favorite deck to play during that. I enjoyed that gauntlet a lot more than I enjoyed just the commons. But I enjoyed it because I found that Battle Mage Control was both good and hilarious to play.
Yeah. That was actually me and Schwitty did tournaments in that format, and the first one was all red aggro, and like dominated by red aggro. So like everybody ended up bringing control for the second one, and the guy who won it ended up killing it by bringing an anti-control lineup that had that control battle mage with like all of the card generating effects.
Yeah,
like,
that's exactly what I.
And it's actually really good against like because a lot of the any slower decks struggle to find win conditions, so you can just outvalue the crap out of them.
Right. Yeah, I really enjoyed playing Casino Battle Mage in that.
Yeah. Also, it's the best way to get those epics and legendaries that aren't allowed in the format.
Kano of it.
Dude, I got a Journey to Sovngarde in one of my matches, and I was like, "Oh, dude, get fucked!" Like I'm playing against somebody who's slapping down giant bats and shit against me, and I'm like, "Oh, you are so dead, dude. You don't even know."
Most people's finishers are Call of Valor, and then you just drop the Journey to Sovngarde.
Yeah, and actually, it's funny that you mentioned Call of Valor because I think in that same matchup, I got an Ice Storm. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is where it's at, dude."
Yeah, it's almost as bad as using Flesh Sculpture to get Supreme Atromancer in a Creatureless Challenge. Like an asshole.
My bad, dude. We need to do that actually again. I would love to do that sometime this week.
This week? Oh man.
Yeah, Ian, you got to get in on this, man.
I'd be done.
All right, so 3 decks. It has to be different classes. The only banned card is Flesh Sculpture. because Charmer's feelings. And was there some other rule we came up with because of recent additions to the card pool?
Oh, I think there was one that we had talked about, but Flesh Sculpture was not fun.
Yeah. Let's look at these new cards real quick.
It's like the only format where Flesh Sculpture is like
it's
actually really, really good, but it's also like so demoralizing to lose to it because you don't feel like you lost a skill at all. It's literally like somebody went, all these cards I have are junk, so throw them in the air and get stuff new and yeah.
Shannara, it's funny. We have for probably over a year now talked about a creatureless league. I still want to make that happen. I would participate gleefully. Because like even though it seems like because you go to these different levels of like developing these decks. Like first you're like, well, yellow-based tokens seems like they'd be great. And then you start running Fireball in all your decks. And then you start then you start trying to figure out ways to generate Nord Firebrands so you can use the card that turns a creature in your hand into a random legendary.
Yeah, I was gonna say the raiding party heroic rebirth is legit.
That's what happens next. And then you start running a whole bunch of creature removal. Like you start putting Piercing Javelin in your decks in a creatureless format. Like it's so much fun. Like I love doing this. There's so much diversity.
I don't play creatureless format. I don't play any decks that can't run Ice Storm in the creatureless format. So
yeah, you have to run Ice Storm.
I would think Skeever Infestation becomes insane.
Oh yeah, maybe we should ban Skeever Infestation. That card.
It might be too slow. Like honestly, it might still be too slow, but it seems insane.
Yeah. We'll have to figure that. We'll have to
figure the time you Javelin and Grunt. Yeah, I can actually see that. You got Reverberating Strike now. You don't need to jab it.
Yeah, that's true. Reverberating Strike seems real strong. Battle Mage's Onslaught is insanely powerful.
Oh, you know what, Justin?
Yeah.
So the thing about creatureless format is there's only one support removal card in the format.
Right.
And that suddenly makes like support mage really, really good, because if you're not playing against Spell Sword, being able to excavate Mechanical Heart 3 times is really strong.
I'm excited to do this now that we have so many new cards. This is a good idea.
Yeah, Fabricate seems like it'd be super fun for that.
Oh yeah, Fabricate is super powerful.
I always want to try to find Fabricate in some stuff. When they did the gauntlet with just the commons and rares, I thought it was the best finisher in the format, because
I think
just make a big dumb like 10/10.
I agree. One of my like both times I went 7 wins was with Casino Battle Mage, and both times I lost games to decks that ran because I didn't bother running a whole lot of removal for 8/8s, and I would die to that fucking new neutral card from Clockwork.
Oh yeah,
the Awakened Imperfect.
Yeah, I would die to like aggro decks who were running that, and I'm like, what is this? Yeah.
Non-vigilant giant.
Big thing, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Neutral vigilant giant.
Yeah. Dumpster giant.
Robot giant.
Yeah, robot giant.
There you go. Yeah.
I think playing Skeever Infestation only counts as one, so it wouldn't be crazy with the Mirror Shrine, because you'd still have to play 2 more cards.
Wait, how did we go through 10 seconds of that with those jokes without saying Iron Giant? Like, what is wrong?
He's not nearly good enough to be compared to the Iron Giant.
That's fair.
If he had a voice line that was like by Vin Diesel, I'd consider it, but
yeah.
Like the Thornwell Terror?
Right.
the 1/3 that sounds like he's about to eat your like entire family.
Thornwell Terror is like the best 1-drop in the game because he sounds
so
like so terrifying. Like
yeah. That's funny.
So what are you guys excited to try now that you're hopefully jumping back on the ladder with these bugs fixed? In non-meme senses, what do you guys think is something that is really cool you think people haven't jumped into yet?
Stuff that's like actually good?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like as far as stuff that uses the new cards go, I mean, I think that Sorcerer with Voice of Balance is super good. I think that there's room for a Battle Mage control deck that really appreciated Clockwork Giant, but like also wants Cradle Crush Giant and I'm sorry, Clockwork Dragon, but also wants Cradle Crush Giant and Voice of Balance.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to try the Self-Mill Warrior deck you sent me.
Control Battle Mage is an interesting one. I haven't really thought too much about Voice of Balance as a control card, but it probably could fit in because you're usually using you're always using actions in control decks, and there's usually supports that fit in if you can find like a slick way to include the item.
Yeah, I think you just run Daggerfall Mage, and I think that you might even look at the 2/1 that gives you a dagger for 1 in blue. That was my first thought.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind using that to trade for the early game, you know? I think that obviously Harpy is better, but I think that you could do some nice things.
I think Rayer's been doing that. He's been playing Wisp Raider with Crown Quartermaster and Voice of Balance.
Crown Quartermaster, that's it. Okay, I didn't... Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think Wisp Raider is still pretty good, too. I think that deck's never bad, I just think it's never particularly great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying Ultra Assassin.
Slime Marshblade.
It's already been a deck, but I actually really want to give a mid warrior a go that runs both Lumbering Ogrim and Bleak Coast Troll, because
like an actual mid warrior.
Yeah.
The other one's just an aggro deck.
Yeah, the stuff that's going around, like Joe calls it mid. He calls it mid-grow now.
Yeah.
That's what it's posted to his Legends decks. It's very, very aggro. It tops out its curve at Triumphant Jarl. And if we're saying that counts as being mid-range, then Prophecy Battle Mage is mid-range, because Prophecy Battle Mage runs Jarl all the time.
Yeah, I just really liked the idea of if you run Ogrim and Bleak Coast, then that increases the number of things that have to be answered a turn before your Sower, and I think it makes your Sower that much more impactful. So even though that's not a cool fun deck, I think it's going to be really good. So I'm excited to try that. I've been playing Merrick Battle Mage with, it's funny Justin said it, with Clockwork Dragon, with the Cradle Crush. That's been okay. I misplayed a couple of games. My win rate would probably be better. It'd been forever since I played Merrick, so it threw me off a bit. But yeah, Ultra Assassin is something I want to give a go. Rage Archer is something I want to give a go with the new Cradle Crush.
I think support mage is still tier 1.5.
And then an item battle mage that tries to use Voice of Balance is something else I want to give a go.
At some point, item battle mage has to be good, right? There's so much synergy there. It has to be at some point during this game's lifespan. Item battle mage has to be a good deck.
I think that it's almost there. Because you're going to be running a lot of that stuff for the Voice of Balance anyway, so I kind of want to give it a go. I don't know if I'm going to go all in item, but I think that there's at least some version that exists right now that can probably make use of the 3-drop that becomes the big ass guard.
Yeah, I actually played that in the Voice of Balance thing, and it's working out really, really well.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yeah, I think that we're just a cheaper item that gives ward away from that deck being incredibly obnoxious.
I'd be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, I think that the Mace is already good enough. If you can play the 3-drop and it survives a turn, throwing Sentinel Battle Mace on it is a nightmare.
Yeah. I love Battle Mace. Battle Mace takes the idea of a control deck, it takes a control deck's idea of trying to handle a mid-range deck and just shoves a big fat no in their face. Every slow deck like the Mira Warrior I've been playing that I think is difficult to counter. The counter is just play mid-range Battle Mage and slam people in the face with warded creatures, because they can almost never deal with it with one card unless they have a Javelin. And if they have a Javelin, then they're jabbing a 3-drop. So So I would love mid-range Battle Mage to be good. I think that's the definition of why mid-range should be good against control. And I think mid-range Battle Mage is really good in this meta. So if there's an item variant of that becomes good, I'm not going to be mad about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think there could be. The only reason I keep wanting to make items work is I think there are cards like Dragonstar Rider that could be really, really good, right? Now that we're hitting a point where Corsair Ship is seeing a lot more play, I think that Corsair Ship and something like Dragonstar Rider are meant to work hand in hand. And then going even a step further, if you've got a Corsair Ship and you can land Dragonstar, then you're going to draw a card and it replaces itself. And then if you somehow it survives a turn and you can throw a tome on it and net 2 cards while pumping it, it's so much gas.
Yeah, Iani's actually been playing that a lot. It's the weirdest looking deck I've ever seen. I have no idea how it wins, but it's Iani, so it does.
Oh, interesting.
The Dragonstar Corsair Ship Voice of Balance thing. I think the deck he has around it is really weird and probably not the best version of it. So there's still a lot of experimentation to be done there, but he's been having some success with just that combo, the Corsair Ship into the Dragonstar.
Yeah, okay. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, so that's actually interesting that Iani was playing it. I'll have to see. Does he have a list posted someplace?
Yeah, I can link it to you. It's really, really weird. It has Dunmer Nightblade. I don't know if I would play his list. There was a time when Dunmer Nightblade used to be really good when it gave Steel Sword.
Yeah,
I do remember that because I only played Arena and Solo Arena when I played way back, and that card was completely.
It was one of my favorite 2-drops in the game because getting a Steel Sword off of an early curve body that you could use for reach later was so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll check this out, and then we might do a version of it or something, because I'm
Cool.
Runs Eldora the Daring, which is good enough for me.
I
Skyway is my new best
I gotta
friend.
step away real quick to take a phone call. I'll be right back.
Oh, this thing has Elekir Survivalist too. Mundus Stone. Aini plays a deck that runs Mundus Stone.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they use memeing around with this.
Dude, he has to
He doesn't
be.
even run Battle Maze.
There's no Battle Mace, but there is.
There's a Mundus Stone.
There is a Mundus Stone. There are 3 Ice Storms and 2 Vigilant Giants.
Yeah, I think it's sort of like control combo, but I'm not sure what the combo is aside from
No, I mean,
get
honestly,
your big minion javelin.
I was gonna say, I'm looking at it, and honestly, it looks like a mid-range deck that just tries to outvalue because it looks like it draws a million cards. And then I bet that the Ice Storm is just teched for the token matchup.
Yeah,
Because
but, I mean, everything it's doing just gets jabbed. It doesn't do any. It's a combo deck that doesn't have an immediate effect.
Yeah, I mean, everything it does just get jabbed, but because it potentially draws a lot of cards, like, they'll run out of jabs before you run out of cards, theoretically.
Yeah, that's
like
what the Voice of Balance is for.
Yeah, I mean, like, I could see where this could, like, not be as memey as it looks on the surface, but I do think the Ice Storm is probably just for the token matchup, because the rest of this deck doesn't win against tokens without Ice Storm.
No.
So
I don't know.
But I like
I like the idea. I don't know if that's the best list for it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the best list. I mean, obviously, you know, it's probably working for Aini, but Aini's a good player, so like
you can actually check the change log he did. So it was 4 days ago that he made this changes. So originally when he played this, it didn't have Ice Storm. So he played this to finish number 4. I'm guessing he started around number 4, so I don't know how much that means. But at that point, it ran Pyromancer, Battle Mace, Conspirator, Cradle Crush, Raiding Party, Brett, and Conjurer. So it's basically just like Merrick with Voice of Balance and a couple item synergies with the Dragon Star. And then he added the Cunning Allies, Ice Storms, Mundus Stone, and Dunmer Nightblade, I think, maybe just to meme it up a little bit.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, I don't know if I'll give this exact list, but I might give, like, College of Winterhold is kind of throwing me, but I suppose that's just support count for Voice of Balance.
I'm of the opinion that Voice of Balance is best if you, like, try not to build around it so much. Just try to, like, don't include bad cards. And obviously, College of Winterhold isn't a bad card, but... Yeah,
it's not bad, but without any, like, synergy, that's potentially question. Like, Skyforge, 3 Corsair ships, and Mundus Stone might be, you know, like, enough.
When you look at mid-range blue, a lot of the times, you know, in theory, you don't want to be playing them this way, but a lot of times your 4-drops are 4-mana 4/4s anyway. If you're playing a Royal Sage and you don't have health, playing a Mystic Dragon, you didn't get off Prophecy, it's just a 4-mana 4/4. So playing a 4-mana 4/4 isn't the end of the world. They function before that way. So you don't have to, like, particularly sell out. You just include good cards, and if the synergy works out, then you get an 8/8.
Yeah, or a lot of times you're just lightning bolting something, or... Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know if I would play this exact list, but I might give something... This is kind of similar to what I was formulating in my mind, because I do see the Rahab Battle Mage. I see Skyforge Corsair ships.
Yeah, that's another one. Just Rahab. I think it's a lot better with this stuff. So I love the new set, man. Like, you should have seen me on the first day I was playing. I was just like gushing. I was just like, this is the most fun I've had with this, because I was just playing the Voice of Balance stuff. When I hit the Serpent, I was hitting, like, Conscription Battle Base to try and charge people. I was just like, it's so... I'm really, really impressed by the set, especially after Clockwork City, which I was very negative on. But it was very, very nice to just see this game get a big shift in the form. Just like even 12 cards was a big shift. So
sounds good.
So
also, welcome back.
Thank you.
I know that Justin can't be up super late, so we should probably transition to the chat question portion, and we have 2 of them, 2 good questions in my opinion lined up. The first question is somebody asks, what does the future hold for the Elder Scrolls Legends? And then their follow-up, like, more specifically, is what does it need to do to be super popular like Hearthstone?
I mean, the future's, as far as and you know, I know I hint around a lot of shit, but, like, the future's looking great just from the stuff that's been publicly said. Like, all sorts of stuff planned for this year. You know, they've talked about doing more tournament stuff, and I think this is the best time that there's ever been to be a Legends player.
Yeah, I would say. Oh, I just messed up my sound. Hold on. I'll be right back.
What does it need to be popular like Hearthstone? So, Hearthstone is as popular as it is because it has very simple, straightforward mechanics, bright, flashy colors, and Elder Scrolls Legends, has a depth to it that is just not present in Hearthstone, and it mechanically really isn't possible in that game. And so, what you have is a community that is smaller than Hearthstone's, but still significant, supported by one of the biggest companies in gaming, and has only continued to grow in popularity, in audience size, and in community size since it's been released. So, what's going to make it more successful? The expansion of the tournament scene they've already said is going to be happening, is what I would point to.
I would say just as somebody who's sort of become a streamer in this stuff pretty recently, I probably haven't had as much interactions with like the people, the brain trust behind everything involved with the game as you guys have. But in the stuff I have recently, I can tell you guys I came away very positive. I think there's definitely a lot of stuff coming for this game, and I'm as somebody who was sort of like looking for reasons to be negative because I love tournaments, and that was one of the reasons I got into this game, was playing tournaments and meeting people. I genuinely think the future of the game is very bright, whereas I didn't, and this video is still up on my YouTube, I didn't think the future of the game was bright like 2 months ago. So I think the past 2 months have been really good. We've seen a lot of good content, a lot of good communication, and I think we're headed in a very good direction.
Yeah, I know that they had released some bits of information recently that make things look bright. I know that they posted for the community manager position that should be filled shortly, which will also, I think, go a long way toward helping us out.
I agree with that.
Heaven help that soul if it's not, though, because they will hear it early and often. But no, I mean, in terms of like trying to get it as popular as Hearthstone, I just don't think that'll ever be the case, if I'm being frank. It needed to be first to market, because that's a lot of what helped Hearthstone hit that, because that gave it inertia, gave it momentum. And then on top of that, is as deep as Legends is, and superior in my opinion as Legends is mechanically to Hearthstone, it's not different enough to make people jump out. Like, one of the reasons, like, you can say what you want about Gwent's competitive scene, but one of the reasons that I think Gwent also got the fast start that it had was because it was so wildly different in terms of gameplay. Yeah. And unless that is, because it's very easy for people to be dismissive, right or wrong. It's very easy for someone to like go to a stream, watch a little bit of Legends, and go, this is a Hearthstone clone, and never come back. Again, right or wrong, that's just what happens. Like, that doesn't happen if you go watch Gwent. I think that, when Artifact comes out, if it ends up being wildly different, that'll get a huge following for a number of reasons, but again, because it'll be different. I don't sadly, even if there was a huge marketing push tomorrow, even if they announced massive like money tournaments tomorrow, I don't think that it would ever hit the popularity of Hearthstone anytime soon. Now, that being said, I think that it has the capability maybe like 2 years from now to close the gap pretty significantly with a slow burn. I think that if they treat this the same way they treated Elder Scrolls Online, then they'll get a lot of converts that, once you do get people to try it out and you see the quality of the game, I think they'll stick around. I just think that's the biggest hurdle.
Yeah, when I met with Matt and AJ the other day, like, they specifically mentioned Elder Scrolls Online. Like, Bethesda's just approaching their card game differently than some other companies are approaching theirs, and I think, like, rightfully so. Like, you just need to look at Hand of the Gods, right, to see what a huge push in the beginning with huge marketing and very financially supported tournament scenes result in when your game fucking sucks.
Hot garbage.
I was gonna say pretty much the same thing in like less flowery language, but that was great. Yeah,
man.
Exactly. It was not a good game.
No, like, you know, Charmer and I are pretty savvy consumers of like gaming stuff, and like we both got taken in by like all the marketing, and then like after like a week of playing that game, I was like, what did I just spend $40 on? Like that was awful.
It was pretty awful.
It's not it wasn't. I mean, I hope that doesn't discourage them from putting money into a tournament scene, because I think there is a gap, right? There's a gap in that sort of, because
oh no, I don't know if that is on my end or on their end, but my Discord has frozen.
I hear him, so I think they can hear us.
I hear that.
They heard me talking.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Oh fuck!
Yeah.
What all did we say?
They heard me talking about how I didn't name names. Hell yeah.
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 Wait, how long have they been able to hear us?
Not long.
That's good.
It just went like back to the game.
We were actually legitimately talking about how we don't understand why anybody fucking watches us.
And then I was about to start talking shit on Hearthstone streamers, and then you go next to stop me from saying names.
I was gonna start vaping. That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, nobody can see you right now anyway because everything is still being goofy, and I'm not even sure if chat can hear. Maybe they can. Maybe not.
They say we can hear us.
All right.
We're scrolls.
Yeah, they can't.
Yeah,
see us.
I can't see you guys. Like
That's alright. I'm much more attractive when people can't see me. Yeah. It's alright, man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My internet just cut out without warning. I assume.
Oh, it wasn't a blue screen?
No, it was my internet. Like it just went down. So on top of the blue screen issue, Comcast is known to do like line maintenance on my internet connection sometimes between like midnight and 1 my time. And they do it without notifying me. And I've even told them like, hey, I use this for business related things. Like, you know, I've upgraded my internet service to like the business quality. They're supposed to notify me, and they never do. So I assume that whatever it was them restarting something on their infrastructure. But
I just realized that I'm gonna try to write off my internet on my fucking taxes. I haven't filed yet, and like, why the fuck not, right?
Yeah, I haven't filed yet either, but I was planning on doing it this year.
I'm trying to avoid thinking about how I need to file this, because I'm assuming that's going to be annoying, so I'm just going to pretend it doesn't exist until the day before taxes are due.
I don't know. There's a certain amount like that. When I signed up with AdSense, YouTube said like if I didn't make this amount, it wouldn't matter on my taxes. But I don't know if I'm there.
No.
I might be.
I don't know, because I'm only affiliated with Twitch, so technically I like don't work for Twitch or anything.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Maybe I don't need to report anything on that.
Yeah, I need to research this a little bit before I commit fraud.
The amount of people that have accidentally committed fraud on Twitch has to be insane.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how I do that.
You could just like find a picture of Barbas for me.
Yeah, I still can't see you guys on Discord at all either. So it might just be audio going forward.
Yeah, I got you.
That's cool. To be honest, I gotta run pretty soon too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It'll probably just be audio. The time, I'm sure I could fix it, but the time it'll take, then Justin will have to jet. So
yeah, you can just use that for me.
I have to. I gotta do some of the most tedious work I've ever done in my life. Like, I don't even know how else to describe it. I've never done this before, but
yeah. Maybe later you can talk about it. We'll earmark it for a future podcast.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, moving along to things that we can talk about.
I got a notification for jury duty recently, by the way. I have jury duty on the 28th.
Well, that ought to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm 100% sure I get disqualified the minute I talk about my background. Like, I still got summoned. Yeah.
So I think we were doing like questions and stuff. If anybody, I don't know if anybody still has questions.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. But
Yeah, Ian was starting to say something, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I completely forget.
He cut out like mid on my end, and it like everything froze. It wasn't like a blue screen, like it was totally throwing me. So
that's cool. I see a lot of Illuminati symbols in chat. Somebody says that Blizzard's. I'm not even gonna repeat that. I'm not gonna repeat that. Never mind.
I was gonna ignore that.
Yeah, I started reading. I'm like, all right, there we go.
Okay, something about a gap. Hold on. Apparently, I got to go back to Twitch and figure out what I was talking about at the end.
Yeah. We're talking about why Hearthstone savers suck. No, that's what we were talking about off the air when we suddenly got back on.
So I know, like forever ago, somebody asked. I believe it was Malibu Barbus. Asked us to rank our expansions.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Like, what's your favorite and what's the worst? And
well, my favorite's the Madhouse collection. Hands down, favorite collection.
What would you put after that?
That's tough. I want to say Clockwork City, just because I feel like I spent more time creating goofy new decks with that small amount of cards. Plus, the Clockwork City story was absolutely brilliant. And then I'd probably go Dark Brotherhood, and then I go Skyrim, and I'm holding out my ranking for Forgotten Hero until I play with the cards more.
All right, just to throw it out there, because I did go back and watch and I figured out what I was saying. I was saying there's a gap in the market right now for competitive CCG that isn't Hearthstone, but it's still that same style of creature combat, like the way Magic the Gathering does it. Because really the only one in that area right now is Hearthstone, and I think there's a lot of people who would look for something to switch, and Gwent's kind of a different, not a different genre, but a different type of game altogether. So that's what I was referring to with the gap. Now people can stop saying gap in chat, please.
That's not gonna happen.
No.
So Ian, how would you rate rate the expansions?
So I wasn't around when Madhouse came out, so I'll say I enjoyed some of the cards from that, but I'll kind of disclude that because I used it all after the fact. Yeah. I think I love the current one. My least favorite is definitely Clockwork City by a pretty significant amount. I just didn't find a lot in there. Like, the actual story itself was fantastic. The missions and stuff, but I just didn't really like the cards that much. I love the new one, but I'm going to give Heroes of Skyrim the number one because it's insane. Having an expansion that has, like, the variations that we went through in that meta, like, people, like, think, oh, like, tokens, but tokens weren't a thing until, like, 2 months after the set released. People went through, like, so many variations of what the best deck is the game is and countering it back and forth, and there's so many cards that came in and out of the meta, and having that, like, it was genuinely one of the best expansions in any like card game I can think of because of how varied the meta was, how little there was that I think was toxic, except for like Bringer of Nightmares and Praetorian Commander, which got immediately nerfed. So I'm really impressed that it's so difficult to bring 130 cards and not really have any major issues. Kind of did that with Heroes of Skyrim.
Yeah. I can see that. So for me, I actually think my favorite expansion was the Fall of the Dark Brotherhood. I really like Madhouse. Madhouse would probably be my second favorite of the bunch, and then I would probably pick, I think, Skyrim, and then Forgotten Hero, and then Clockwork City. And just in terms of, like, cards that were introduced. That being said, I'm right there with Ian. Like, I love the story of Clockwork City. But I think Fall of the Dark Brotherhood, it didn't give us as much new stuff in terms of, like, new deck building options like Madhouse did, but it gave us a couple of new decks while also providing a large number of cards that, like, kind of changed the way so many other decks were played. And they kind of set us up for stuff that would be, like, really powerful in the future. Right? Like, when Fall of the Dark Brotherhood released versus, like, comparing the power of those cards post-Skyrim, like, there are so many cards in the Fall of the Dark Brotherhood that immediately got better the minute Skyrim hit, right? So I think that it was a little underappreciated at the time. Like, Astrid was good, but she wasn't, like, as good until we, like, got Archer's Gambit, right? And there's a lot of cards that were like that. And so now when I look back, there is some really powerful stuff in the Fall of the Dark Brotherhood, and I felt the story was fun. I think that one's probably my favorite looking back.
Sweet. Maybe all our favorites are going to be released soon.
Trademark.
Mac Milanov had a question.
Okay, what's that?
Don't you think it's time to nerf Journey? That card is overused as Parth and doing too much. And we touched on Journey a little bit earlier, so it's an interesting question. What do you like? Because it's not an amazing card from a win rate perspective, but it is like crazy powerful and kind of changes the way you have to build decks. So is that something you guys think should get nerfed, or do you think they should leave it alone because it's not like amazing or anything?
I think that you hit the nail on the head perfectly when you talked about rotation. Like, I like Unstoppable Rage, I like Journey, I don't want to play against them forever.
Yeah.
Those are the two big ones that come to my mind with that.
I actually think that it's less oppressive than Parthenax was necessarily at his height. And here's why.
It's easy to forget how annoying Parthenax is until somebody plays it against you.
Right. Like, so here's why. Journey is a card that can absolutely win a game. It can absolutely mean the difference between games, like on who, gets the value out of their Journey first. Like, I'm not going to deny the power level.
Yeah.
But Journey is in many ways like the rich man's Ungolem. Like, you have to spend 7 Magicka doing nothing, and then you have to, either combo it out with, like, Tullius Conscription, or, like, wait till you draw those cards to get the benefit. And there have been plenty of times where I've shuffled in, like, 20, 25 creatures with Journey, and then still not drawn any for, like, my next 10 draws.
Yeah.
Whereas Parthenax, you always would get, like, immediate value out of it, right? So, I don't know, like, for me, I'm right there with Ian. I think that it's the kind of card that I don't want to play against forever, and it's the kind of card that will get more powerful the more creatures that are released and the more interactions that are released, so I don't want it to be around forever. But in the current state, like, right now, I think that it's fine. I think that, I would also say this, like, I think that there's probably, as much counterplay to Journey as there is to Parthenax, or was to Parthenax. I mean, you can still play Memory Wraith stuff. Cast into Time just came out. You can try to, like, usually when I'm playing against decks that I expect are playing Journey, I think that sometimes people drastically overlook the strategy of burning cards. Like, if you catch a control player with, like, 8 cards and you had, like, normally, normally you don't think about it, but if they got, like, 8 or 9 cards and you can crack a rune or two, like, that can turn a game if you... I've won a couple of games by making people burn a Journey.
Ever since I released that video where I killed somebody with the Tullius's Battle Mage charge thing, like, I find myself getting fucking milled by people intentionally.
Super Thinks has sniped me before with Mill Mage with Studium Headmaster when I was playing a deck I was playing that warrior deck whose entire win condition is Journey, and he just nailed it. There were 10 cards left in my deck, and somehow he just nailed it. I don't want to talk about that one anymore, actually. Do we have any other questions?
Yeah.
I like it when Malibu Barbas asks questions because I get to say his name.
Pretty fantastic name.
It's a great name.
Malibu Barbas asks, do you think Cast into Time is potentially more powerful than Javelin in a tournament where deck lists are public? I think that Cast into Time might be more powerful than Javelin just in general.
I think... I don't know if public deck lists mean that much, because I think anything you're trying to hit with Cast into Time, in that sense, is something that's so powerful they're going to be running 3. Like, one of the best targets is, like, Sower. I don't need a deck list to know that my opponent's running 3 Sowers.
Yeah. Right. I would agree with that 100%.
Yep.
And here's the thing. If you think a card is powerful enough that you want to Cast into Time it, even if there was only one copy of it, it's probably still the right play to have played Cast into Time onto it.
Yeah. I'm glad Cast into Time is part of the card pool now, though.
The Unstoppable. Was that your age post Flying Boot?
I
God
think
dang it.
I think he posted the chicken one. I thought.
Oh, I thought he was the one who posted the most recent Nerf Rage thread.
No. That was somebody else. It was like Jax something or whatever. I'm pretty sure Boot was the chicken one with the kid who gets chased down by a cock.
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah, that one.
And now Charmer's on an FBI list.
That video was scary to watch. Because that's a dangerous situation. It's a kid getting chased by an angry rooster. Who's filming? Go help the kid.
Probably another chicken, man.
It's probably the kid's. No, it's probably the kid's parent. Listen, I love my children, and I would do anything for them. But sometimes you just have to watch your children make really dumb decisions and just let them learn from it. Like, it happens.
Fair enough. Will there be Daedric princes? I don't know, man.
There's a lot of cool stuff in the lore. I want them. I mean, a lot of people say with like future expansions they want. Like, I want to see a Morrowind expansion. I want to see an Oblivion expansion. I want to see something we haven't seen in the games. Like, I want to see like an Elsewhere expansion.
Yeah,
like a Valenwood expansion. Stuff we haven't really seen that much of.
I mean, we just got Mechanar, right?
Yeah,
and
Mechanar was cool.
And he was cool. I think that, we asked Pete about it when he was on, and he was kind of like coy but / open-ish to the idea. I do think it would be cool if they use the legends as a way to build out more of the lore, and then having like you say, right? Like, let's do an Elsewhere expansion, and then if they do Elder Scrolls 6, let's say, and it's ends up being Elsewhere, how cool would it be to see people that you recognize from the card game?
Yeah, I thought Mechanar was cool, and I was disappointed to look at the wiki and find out he wasn't in like ESO. Because I'm like, I have ESO, I'm gonna go play until I get to face Mechanar, because he was so cool. It was just a cool villain. He makes robot cyborgs.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, robot cyborgs is a little bit redundant, but he was cool.
Oh man, I feel you. I feel your cyborg love. I've seen all the Transformers movies, and they're all fucking awful. But you know what?
I still got robots.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta get in on this.
So, Nikami, I never know how to say it, but I always like to put the emphasis on like the 4 N's in his name. Says, would slight change to a card have a big impact on the meta? I assume he's asking what slight change to a card would have a big impact on the meta. Like, if you could pick one card and make a slight change to it to make a big impact.
Ice Storm at 5 would change everything.
I'm trying to think of like a small one. Give Blood Pact Messenger charge. Maybe that's not small.
That's huge, man.
But I don't know. The first thing I always think of when people ask that is like, what's a small way I can give Spellsword draw? Spellsword needs to have something to. If Spellsword ever got draw, they might be actually insane. Like, it would be a really good control deck. It's not.
I mean, historically,
I'll say Immolating Blast always leaves the smallest creatures.
Yeah.
Instead of random.
That'd be big.
Incandescent Explosion. Extra from 10. I don't know how that meme started. I don't know if it was a Link thing, but whenever Immolating Blast comes up and my streamer is like, what's Immolating Blast? Do you mean Incandescent Explosion?
What else could change? I mean, the entire meta changed when Crystal Tower Crafter went from 2/2 to 1/1.
Yeah, but I mean, that was a really big change.
They were
small, but it was big.
Make Fireball able to go face.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Funny you mentioned that.
Was that a beta thing?
Yeah, that was a beta thing.
The crazy one I remember was Old Manticora. That's when I mean, obviously I only really played Arena and like very, very low level constructed at that point, but Manticora being able to go cross lanes was so freaking bonkers. Like, it's so amazing now, and you didn't have to like have any restrictions before.
Yeah, Manticore used to be nuts. Old Pillaging Tribune used to be pretty nuts.
When grab is a 0-cost 10/10, it's a pretty small change.
It's funny that, like, old Wamasu, right? Like, that cracks me up, right? That, like, Ankano was like a staple, and old Wamasu was almost as good. And
No,
like,
it wasn't almost as good though. It was one less damage, and it was a smaller body, and it didn't provide like breakthrough and.
I know, but I mean, like, I still feel like, I mean, because that card saw no play, absolutely none. You know?
Yeah. Well,
So, like,
but you have to remember, like, back then, even Encano wouldn't have been like super good. I mean, back then we had 8-cost Tascad.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think if they unnerfed it, Wamasu would be like a staple in blue at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think people are coming around to everything like on Kano, and even like that, people were surprised at how good Worms King's Agent was because it did that. Anything that can interact with the board and leave a body is going to be pretty insane. And it can interact if it could interact face along with leaving a body.
If they changed Wamasu back, I would play it in Assassin as a finisher all day long.
Yeah,
with all that reach.
It would be pretty great in Assassin. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be so annoying to play against. 3 Racers, 3 Bolts on Kano, Tazcad, 3 Wamasus.
Yeah.
House Kinsman, Camlorn Hero.
Never take damage ever, or just pack all of the healing. That would be so crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what Assassin needs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a card that like you could just give a small change to that would just drastically change things.
Remove the restriction from East March Crusader? It's probably not a small change though.
Yeah.
I keep coming back to the draw thing.
Yeah. Small changes. Okay, I think that the 2/2 with Pilfer and Prophecy in green for 2. I think you make that a 2/3 and it becomes crazy.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, Daring Cutpurse could be nuts. Chat is saying Markarth Bannerman being a 4/5.
Yeah,
here's the thing. Like, you could make... I would even say you could make Bannerman a 3/5, and it would still be absolutely insane.
It might even be stronger, because you couldn't hit it with Fell the Mighty.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, that's what I want. I want Bannerman to be a 3/5.
Yeah,
that drastically changes the meta.
Yeah, that'd be pretty crazy. But,
Swindlers Market costing 2 would be pretty crazy.
Somerset Ori costing 0.
Still not good enough.
that brings the orc, the 0/2 orc into the meta.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Part of the worst infinite combo in the game.
Make Blades Lookout a 3/4. That's gonna be that's my final answer. Make Blades Lookout a 3/4, and I think you're gonna see a couple new decks come into the meta that don't.
That would be crazy. I've seen people play the Dragon Archer deck pretty successfully as a 3/3.
Yeah, because I think that card, even as a 3/3, is one of the higher power level that doesn't currently have a deck. Because it's pretty crazy. You get that thing rolling, it's really, really good.
I actually have... I don't know what you would cost it at, but here's what I want. I want them to bring back the Elixir of Magicka, but like as an actual card you can play.
An actual card? That'd be interesting.
Like, if you gave a neutral ramp option that just had limited charges or whatever... Like, make it cost 2 or 3 or whatever, right? Like, 3's probably what you would cost it at.
It would have to cost 0. Because if it's taking up a card in your, like, a slot in your deck, it gets significantly less useful as the game goes on.
This is the rationale.
You know,
like, breaks the game with shit like Mox and Lotus.
No, that's just it, right? Like, I know it feels unplayable unless it's at, like, 0, but the reason I think it has to be 3, or maybe even 4... is one, it's a neutral card, so there's stuff like that. But there's like Cauldron Keeper and Tower Alchemist automatically make that card really, really good. But even just like, even if you're not running the support package, the ability to give control decks that wouldn't normally have access to it, the ability to jump to like 13 or 14 in a turn, right? Like being able to, you know, play that Marak and, you know, another 2-drop or a 3-drop.
You know, I was playing support mage today actually, and I used Orb of Vermine and I stole 2 Histgroves, and with 14 Magicka, I was able to do some really dumb shit.
So that's why I'm thinking, like, I think Elixir of Magicka coming back as an actual card could be cool.
Yeah.
But it would be like, I think you would have to cost it like 3 or 4 or something. But
yeah, that was exceptionally stupid what that deck can do with extra Magicka.
I do think that would change the meta, though. So that's my answer. Bring back the Elixir as a playable card.
Huh. All right.
Do we have any? I don't know if we have any other questions.
Good show, guys.
Looking through all the answers to the other one. That was a good question.
Yeah, it was.
I'm kind of sad I didn't go to the... I guess there was a meetup for Twitch in Chicago today, and I didn't find out about it until, like, yesterday.
Huh.
And that's... it's only, like, 3.5 hours away from me or something like that. I kind of wish I would have went.
Alright.
Real Mayo, if you changed Blood Sorceress's proc to end of turn instead of start of turn, it would be horrifically broken.
Yeah, that would be like an infinitely better Whisper.
I mean, he's not wrong. That is a small change, changing start to end.
It would be like an uncounterable Whisper.
Hey, I've been saying for a long time, the only thing that's keeping Spider's Lair from being an actual card is changing start to end.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's not an actual? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
That's a card that when I first started playing the game, I fell in love with it, and I tried so hard to make that card like really viable.
I played a lot of Spider Lair at one point too.
I don't even have Spider Lairs.
That's all right. The only card I don't have is Nutcreen.
I think I have that. I think that was a staple in my meme list against Mechanar, where I tried to get my highest highest ever attack. I tried to do that in one turn with Barbas. Get him to a 999.
Nice.
It worked. Nockreen was a staple in that because he needed to hit the Markinaz.
That's funny.
You know, Shannara in chat was saying it kind of as a joke, but he says make Counterfeit Trinket a card you can include in your deck. And that's not as memey as I think. Like that.
No, I think that's 3 of in every single deck ever.
Yeah, I agree.
At a minimum, like it makes Prophecy Battle Mage really good. It makes Swindlers Market decks infinitely better.
Yeah, I think it's good in everything.
Yeah.
Zero mana, draw a card. Even like 1 damage. That's in some cases it's a benefit. I think every single deck would play 3 of those.
Yeah.
And Withered Hand Cultist would be in every red deck ever. Also.
That's true. That's true.
Withered Hand Cultist Thieves Guild Shadowfoot is one of the most devastating combos in the game.
It's so demoralizing. Yeah.
All right. I gotta bail, guys. I'm so sorry, but I have shit I gotta do.
I know, man. I appreciate you even making sure that we still did this tonight.
No, thank you guys for having me on. I needed this. Now I have hours of work, so. Ian, we'd love to have you back sometime. It was great having you on the show. Sure. Congratulations on making the appearance in the Bethesda stream on Friday, and congratulations on all your success streaming.
I also want to go on record, because I meant to say this earlier. I was getting really close, and then we had the technical difficulties. I want to give Ian a shout out for all the stuff that he does to help out with the Warp Meta tournaments.
Absolutely.
If you guys don't know, Ian helps out with those and puts in a lot of work behind the scenes, and it's really appreciated. So
yeah, absolutely. That's all based on it's very cool that like these guys kind of just came out of nowhere and said we want to start putting money into tournaments, and I thought that was really cool. So I mean, having them jump in is just kind of a new tournament out of nowhere was a really cool experience. So I'll in turn shout out Automaton, who's the guy who admins pretty much all those tournaments by himself, which is insane because we're getting up to like consistent 32-player tournaments, and he's just adminning them and handling bans by himself, which is crazy. But yeah, those are really fun. There's going to be another one this coming Thursday. We're actually going to be giving away a 60-pack bundle in the chat if anybody is interested in winning some packs.
Sweet. Rock on, guys.
Cool. Have a good night, everybody.
Peace out.